Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so there's now been a lot of discussion about super PACs, about hundreds of thousands of dollars, and about a lot of mean rhetoric in the campaign. But what's in front of you, and I saw 3 different versions of it in the attachment. I urge everyone watching at home to download it. It's available on the legislator's website, is a voter guide that complies with Wyoming law, paid for by Coal Country Conservatives Political Action Committee. It doesn't, where's the negativity on here? What's offensive about this other than the unique spelling of the word sheriff? I would hope even like the Wyoming Promise people would get up here and say, this is the kind of grassroots stuff that you should be encouraging. This makes, this is like food for me. All right, this is why I became a First Amendment lawyer. This complaint, again, I'm not questioning County Clerk Saunders. I understand the concerns here. And yet, the complaint illustrates that this wasn't just a mailer. This was handed out in Campbell County. There's citizens engaging on this. The filings included in this complaint show they could have used a registered agent when they registered with Wyoming. But we have real people. We have news reports that identify these as residents of Campbell County who are engaging in the political process. Why? And Senator Driscoll, it pains me that they have registered with federal and the state. This has all the markings of people trying to comply with the law. $1,800. They're going to pay my billable hourly rate or any campaign finance lawyer to go out there and really show them how it's done. I urge you, please. There's so much. That same problem, this aspersions, this idea we're finding any reason to find people doing nothing but good political First Amendment speech. Anyway, I apologize. I got to calm down. Who needs a drink? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Senator Driscoll.
I think you missed the point, and you're angry, and I understand it. I had no problem with the handout. Don't have a problem. What I have a problem with is complying with the law and the intent of the law. First Amendment rights are great. Grassroots is great. When people start paying for stuff, if you're going to get rid of the rules, I have to follow rules. As a candidate, I sit down every time somebody sends me a check, I put it in the website. I have to report every dime I spend where it went. Now, if you want to talk about basic First Amendment rights, mine should be able to accept money from whoever I want and spend it however I want. I'm not allowed that freedom. I am forced to sit down and enter every check, doesn't matter which one of you gave it to me, put it out. I have to put what newspaper I spent money in, how much I spent, right down to the penny. Yet a group from the outside can go spread, which in this case was not, okay? And I think you hit a problem here with Representative Fortner. He wasn't cranky about this. He was cranky about absolute misinformation that was posted about him that were lies, deceitful, and not the truth. And he was left helpless to even figure out who did this to him. And I agree with him. I understand it. He's 4th, 5th generation. He's proud of his heritage. He's proud of what he does. And he's left recourseless for an out-of-state group that came in and literally savaged him to the bone. And then we wonder, when I listen to what you just talked about, why we can't get qualified people to run, because they strip them of all their dignity with lies. I have no problem standing for my record. I'll stand behind it day after day after day. Get me between the eyes for how I voted in this body. Don't come out and tell a blatant lie and then hide behind a corporation or somebody we can't figure out who it is. That's where the problem lays. You agree?
Mr. Klein?
Mr. Chairman, I think we have disclosure, FEC, particularly here. It was just as easy to go to fec.gov as ycampaignfinance.gov to look up these expenditures. As to contorting defamation with disclosure, right? I think that's as a lawyer, I deal in these issues, both of them, right? And tracking down those people, I'm not a Wyoming licensed attorney, but when you are truly defamed, even though it's a public figure, it's hard to do it, hard to win those cases. But boy, it can be done. And a few good subpoenas, you know, there are alternatives here other than creating draconian disclosure violations that will hurt these people, everyone, not just the out-of-state people that you want to get after. So I do urge caution going forward and understand, you know, again, with all due respect to, because I'm the guy who defends anonymous speech who doesn't like it, you know? I stand, but I don't do it myself. But I've seen the alternative, and I see that, I just fear that this, you know, this perception leads to some very bad outcomes for people who are trying to participate in the political process.
Mr. Chairman, one follow-up. I'd encourage you to go listen to the floor debate from last year on when we were talking about the penalties, because we went into this at length on the floor. And, you know, it's really interesting because what they did, and I fully agree, they didn't need to file anything. The truth is they're mimeographed copies other than the ad that was in the thing. Any one person could have done it. And I'm guessing the ad that was in the paper was less than a couple $100. So whoever gave money did it. It's fair game. That end of it I get. That happens all the time. We do mimeograph copies and that. What I'm really trying to reach out to is more when we get these big money from out of state come in and they reach down through and you're just left defenseless on the thing. And I'm telling you, it has a chilling effect on candidates, an incredible chilling effect. I can tell you at this point in my career, after what I've gone through the last 2 elections, I'd never started running, you know, I kept going because I got in leadership to the point I could actually reach the top, which, by the way, I get beat up for that as well. But I'd have never run knowing what they've done to my kids, my family, my in-laws. Christ, they dump down to the point and go after my daughter's husband. I mean, this is, and then you wonder why you get no one that's of any quality to run for office. So to me, you'll see me and I'll kick back against you nonstop. Is how do we get the best qualified candidates there and make the races as fair as you possibly can? Issues are great things to go after people on. Blatant lies need dealt with. And back to what you were talking, it's really hard to stop anybody, but the blatant lies have got to end at some point.
And that may be larger than the issue complaint in front of us, but thank you, Mr. Klein, for being here. Anyone else just general on this topic?